Hey guys, Paul from Ashen Phoenix. It is New Comic Book Day for the week of October 7th, and we're going to get started right now.
Right now.
Like, this second.
As I keep adjusting this.
Don't do that.
I'm doing it.
Why?
Because you're not perfect.
Okay.
Aw, there you go. Now you're perfect.
Aren't we all perfect?
No. Absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm all kinds of flawed. The comments section told me so.
They don't like you. I don't know why.
I get it.
You slam books. They don't like that.
I'm sorry.
This episode brought to you by the Comic Book Store, 30 North Main Street, Classborough, New Jersey. Come buy some books. They have them. Like, lots of them.
Several.
Especially Amazing Spider-Man 49. There's a lot of variants this week.
Please buy them. Hey guys, Tim from Capes and Scowls. Hooray! Paul, you love the Scowls.
Yeah.
I
listened to a lot of them this week.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Please listen to that if you got a chance. Capes and Scowls on your local podcast majig. I'm going to talk about some trades. Nightwing. This is an all-ages, more or less, novel. Batman Adventures Nightwing Rising. This looked pretty cool. I think it's mostly new stuff. I couldn't figure that out before we started. And I still can't. I don't know what made me think in the next... Yeah, it's all new. Oh, I threw it. They're going to hate that. Anyways. Maybe I am despicable. Maybe you're right. Super Sons. This is a new Super Sons all-ages graphic novel. I don't know if this continues off of the other stuff. There's been a handful of these. Yeah, it does. Book 3. Look at me, solving problems. It's not my best night. King Deadpool. This is Kelly Thompson, right? Yes, we got there. We got one. We reviewed a handful of these. These were good. We've got First Knife. I don't know anything about this, but it looks cool. It's about a cool knife.
Isn't it so weird when like a trade comes in and you're like, we never touched this?
I don't know how that happens. It left our radar.
That's 2 weeks in a row.
I know. Oh yeah, that Goody, what was it? Gunning for Ramirez?
Yeah. I'm
definitely gonna read that. I thumbed through that. It's about like a killer vacuum cleaner salesman. Yeah, the top killer in Mexico is the vacuum cleaner salesman from Arizona, something like that. That was last week. Don't worry about that. Or go back and watch it, and then you can worry about it. I think that's how watching works. The Clock. This is by Matt Hawkins. We love Matt Hawkins. What a sweet dude. Really cool guy. This is an interesting one to read right now, so get on that. And finally, we got Legion of Superheroes Millennium. This is Bendis. This is Bendis being all Bendis-y. So if you want to check that out, this is a very good starting point. It has the 2 Millennium issues and then the first 6 issues of Legion of Superheroes.
Okay, so I'm going to be real honest with you guys. Sometimes we choose our books based on time. We've been so busy today that if your book was over 22 pages, we probably weren't getting to it. I'm sure Amazing Spider-Man 49 is really, really great, and Batman 100 is really, really great. We didn't have time to read them. So, they're awesome. Buy them.
I loved it. I loved it next week when I read it. Whoa.
First up, we have Wolverine, issue number 6. This is X of Swords, issue number 3. So, here's basically what I'm going to condense this down as best I can. In issue number 2, we have the prophecy that basically explains who is going to be the 10 champions of each side. And now what's going to happen in each of these books is going to be how each of those champions get their swords. It's an interesting idea, especially for the X of Swords, because basically what the X-Men have kind of done is paint themselves into a corner. They've removed the whole concept of consequences with the resurrection pits and all that kind of stuff, and their ability to bring back anybody. But because this is an Otherworld, because all the realities mix together, if you die in Otherworld, you're in essence dead. They can bring you back, they will bring you back, but the person that is you is an amalgam of literally every possibility that you could be, which really leads to a lot of great ideas going forward, because if people die and they're brought back, they can be brought back as villains because there's a reality where they might be. So that is reintroducing stakes into the X of Swords series and X-Men in general by showing that if you die, there's actually a chance that you are dead forever. Your character, what we know of you, is gone. And that is what this is. This is Wolverine trying to find Muramasa. And It's an interesting story. I'm not a big Wolverine fan, but this was really fun to read. Kind of going back from his past to find Muramasa and find the sword, and at the same time, the other person that he will eventually be facing, Solem, introducing this new character into the series and all of that. They're going to be really interesting to read, and you're going to get more of this in the next issue that I review, because you almost have to read these two as pairs. But it's definitely interesting to read. However, I will say now that if you are not interested in the collection of the swords your specific character doing, you can actually skip a lot of the X of Swords, because I truly believe that the first dozen issues are literally just going to be the people gathering the swords. So unless that backstory on how each of them obtain their weapons is going to be an interest to you, you can skip everything up to, I'm going to assume, X of Swords Stasis. So you can pretty much skip everything this month and not miss any real action. So it's up to you if you decide that you want to get these. I'm going to continue reading them, but I have a feeling that's what's going to be for the first 10 chapters of this book, is literally just everybody picking up their swords.
All right, first up for me, we got Black Widow, #1. Black Widow gets a new #1 all the time, and I think that's unfair. I think it's not cool, man. But this book is pretty sweet. It's Kelly Thompson, and it's just a very bizarre story where Natalia she's not herself. She's kind of settled down with a family and a house, and she doesn't know who she is, and it's very strange. And it's focusing on Winter Soldier and Hawkeye spying on her, trying to say, like, she's still there? What's going on? Does she seem okay? Go talk to her. I don't want to talk to her. Hawkeye eventually goes and talks to her because he's got one of those prickly bushes hitting him in the butt. It's very silly. And the book's good. The book's good. There's things that remind her of her old life. You get a glimpse of what is happening, but you really don't have a clue. And I like that. And it's intriguing. So if you like Black Widow, this will get you. It'll get its hooks into you, and you should enjoy it.
Next up, we have X-Force issue 13. Of course, this is X of Swords issue #4. We get more of Solem and Wolverine. I'm not going to tell you where they're at, because unfortunately that would spoil X-Men Wolverine issue #6. But they are still trying to find Muramasa's sword. They find him in a very interesting place, and as a result have to work together to find there. But who's going to get Muramasa? Because only one person can get the sword, and both of them are tasked with bringing back Muramasa to be their champion for the respective side. And that leads to an interesting duality. Solem is a very interesting character, very fun character to read, and I would love to see more of him. Hopefully he doesn't die, because I want to see more of what happens to him.
Next up, if you know me, you know I like weird crossovers that don't make sense. So, Transformers Back to the Future.
I knew you were. As soon as I put that on the shelf, I was just like, you're going to read that.
I am going to read it, and I did read it, and it was good. Essentially what it is the first Back to the Future movie, which I just watched the other day. It's very weird that this came in when it did. There's actually scenes from the movie drawn into this story. It's really great when Marty first goes back in time, and it's an alternate cosmic continuum sciencey word thing, and I didn't read it that well. And basically you have the Transformers in this alternate timeline, and the Transformers they're not known yet to the humans, but there's Decepticons and Autobots are already separated, and they're trying to decide what are ways to destroy the other party. The Decepticons discover the DeLorean. They see the initial trial of the DeLorean, and they're like, oh, we can go back in time. We can kill them all. Perfect. And Marty's like, and they end up stopping them. Bumblebee gets beat up a little bit, which I enjoy. And you end up having some reality-changing issues. But, I mean, look at that DeLorean on the cover, huh? Isn't that awesome? Isn't that something you never thought you needed, and yet you do? It's true. This is fun.
And not really my pick of the week. I didn't really have a pick of the week because of X of Swords was 3 issues this week. Really didn't have time to read anything else. So I don't really have a pick of the week. X of Swords itself is my pick of the week because I love this series. So we have Marauders issue #13, which is X of Swords issue number 5, and this deals with Storm finding each of her thing, going to Wakanda, and getting her sword. This is a lot. This is a big, thick book. There's a lot of story here with Storm going back to Wakanda and all the complications that leads to between Krakoa and Wakanda. And also with Black Panther not necessarily being there because of what had happened in Empire. He's still not back yet, and that causes all types of problems because her sword is Wakanda's, like, our version of the Declaration of Independence. It's like the most cherished item that Wakanda has, and she has to get it. And the only person that can give her permission is Black Panther, and he's not around, and you only have 3 days to get the sword. So that leads to massive conflicts, and it's a fun read. It's definitely a fun read, but again, what I will say, as I said earlier in this review, if you don't want to read about the collections of the swords, you can skip the Stasis. It's up to you if you want to pick those up. I think they're worth the read. They're very interesting stories, but they're not necessary stories. So it's up to you if you want to grab it. I would say definitely grab it because I've always been a fan of Marauders, but it's up to you.
All right, Paul, it's time for my pick of the week. Do you know what it is?
I never know what it is.
I know, and I keep asking you. It's from AWA Studios.
No idea.
No? It's American Ronin.
Oh, okay.
I read American Ronin. If you haven't checked out any of AWA's stuff, a lot of it's good. I've read Grendel, Kentucky. I've read Bad Mother. There's a bunch of other books. Pretty wild stuff, usually. This is Peter Milligan, who is amazing, and his artist, I guess, is just ACO. I don't know. Could his name just be Acco? I don't want to call him that. It's probably ACO. We're going with that. Let me know in the comments how the hell to say your name. But your art's awesome, and I loved your panel layout. And this book is essentially a Ronin, you assume American, because I can follow. And he is trying to take out this big, powerful corporate guy that no one can get near. And it is him, throughout the issue, trying to figure out a way to do it. He does some wild stuff. This is like a more James Bondy kind of version of a John Wick movie. I really liked it. I'm probably going to add it to my bin. I believe it's only a 5-issue run. At least the initial run will be. Really good. I think if you enjoy John Wick, but you want something a little different, it's not as guns a-blazing, it's more of a thought piece, I think you'll really enjoy this. I dug it, and I can't wait to get more. I don't want to give away all the cool stuff that happens. It's really cool. Trust me, it's cool, and you need it. All right, everybody, thank you for making it to the end of the video. Paul and I thank you quite a bit. Thank you to everybody for supporting your LCS during pandemic weird times, and, hey, just have fun with each other. Just be excellent to each other. I think, as cheesy as it is to say...
Because 2 Keanu Reeves movies?
Yes, we were talking about Keanu Reeves, but I think being excellent to each other is a decent idea. From a safe distance, like... Now you gotta do the air guitar, though. No. You have to. You can't just say be excellent to each other and not do the air guitar, because you have to do the air guitar. No. You have to do it. You just have to. I tell you what. If we get 20 comments on this video, I will air guitar like a pro next week. Rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen. Oh, yeah, Eddie. Oh, Eddie. See, you got to do it this week because of that. Oh, see, now you got to. I really don't. You do. I don't respond to peer pressure like you do. You don't fold like a deck chair? No. No. I absolutely don't. Stoic? Thank you. Okay. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. You can stop this thing. 20 comments, though. 20 comments, and I will air guitar Eruption. Which is what? How long is Eruption? No, we'll get a copyright thing. You know what? Not that, but something. Well, think about it. Let me know that can be what your comment's about. Please make me stop talking.